What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So I'm currently sitting in my Mk6 Escort van, which I purchased just a couple of weeks ago. Now, when I purchased this van, it came with one fault, and that was the fact that the blower motor didn't work. Now, it didn't work on all settings, 1, 2 and 3. So what I decided to do the other day is I ordered a blower motor for it, and I started to take off bits of the bulkheads to finally get the heater box out, which is where the fan actually sits. Once I had removed the heater box, I could then get to the fan and replace it. Now, I was quite surprised when I looked at the old fan that it was the original one, or I can only presume it was the original one because it still had a Ford logo on it. It wasn't an aftermarket fan. So with all of that, I put the new one into the blower box, bolted it all back in, and it looked perfect. I even tidied up a bit of the scuttle and got rid of a bit of the crap and debris that was just lying about in there. So now we actually have blowers at work. Not that you can really hear that because it's only on number 1, 2 and 3. So the fan now works, but there's no hot air coming out even when the engine's warm. Now, if some of you guys know these Mk6 Escort vans, you all know that the heater matrix is in a little bit of a tricky spot. So let me show you. I'm just in the passenger footwell, and this bit of insulation used to sit just over there. And behind here, we've got the heater matrix, as you can see. Now, all I can describe this as is some absolute weapon has worked on this before. Now, instead of removing the actual heater box, what they've done is they've actually cut out around the heater matrix and replaced it, which definitely isn't the right procedure and is now causing all of the air from the heater box to just blow into the footwell and not come out of any of the vents. Now, if that bodge replacement wasn't annoying enough, as we peel back the passenger footwell mat, we can actually see that it is leaking as well. So yeah, it's not leaking badly, but it is dripping from the heater matrix, so that definitely needs replacing, and the heater box needs replacing as well. There's nothing worse than sorting out someone's bodged up repairs, but there's no point crying over spilt milk. The reason why the person probably cut out around that heater matrix before is because to replace it, normally you would have to remove the dash, and that's what I'm going to have to do. It is a bit of a big job, but it's just something that needs to be done. I fixed the fan, but unfortunately that wasn't the only fault with the heating system. Let's crack on and dive into stripping apart this dash, because I know quite a lot of this has got to come out. Okay, so I'm just dealing with the first challenging piece to remove, being this centre console. Now, I had one little screw at the back that was covered by a cap, really easy to remove. Now, I made my way further forward, and this is where it got a little bit tricky. So basically, either side, probably about here and just over here, you've got 2 grub screws, but they don't go down into the floor, they go up. And there's no way you can get a ratchet or even a screwdriver in there to remove them. So what I've had to do is I've had to remove 4 bolts that hold in the gear selector or gear stick. Now, what that's allowed me to do is remove it, and now I'm doing this one-handed. So what that has allowed me to do is lift up the centre console, and now I can get to them 2 screws. As you can see just under here on the left hand side, that is one of the grub screws. Now, there is actually meant to be one on the right hand side, but that is missing. This has probably been off once before in its life, dare I say it. I've just come over to the driver's side, and as you can see, this has got one little grub screw here and another one just here. So I was just about to remove the grub screws, and then I realised that you can actually take the centre console out with this metal plate still attached to it. I just got a different angle on it and it came out nicely. I'm just starting to store bits and bobs in the back of the van, because I know there's going to be plenty of plastic trim pieces that I'm going to need to store in the back here whilst I've got the dash out. Anyway, I know the steering wheel needs to come off, I know the column cowlings need to come out, and yeah, just need to take bits of trim off to finally get the big piece of the dashboard removed. Anyway, I'm going to crack on and whack this on time lapse. A quick little update, I've started to remove some bolts and a bit of the cowling from the dash. There is 4 big bolts, 2 on each side, 2 by that passenger door, and there's 2 just here. Now the dash is fairly loose now, as you can see, but I need to get the steering wheel off. In order to take this off, I need to take the airbag out first. I have disconnected the battery, which is always so important when dealing with airbags. Now all you need to do is get the ratchet in behind. There's 2 little bolts and they are 5.5 mil. I'm just about to remove the steering wheel bolt. Now this should come off nice and easily. I've disconnected a couple of the wires. Just going to make sure it stays nice and straight before it's off. The stalks are now out as well, just a little Phillips screw on the top holding them in. So we are pretty much ready to go. All I've got to do is start to unclip some of the wiring, which is clipped on behind the dash, and then we should have this out in a minute. Fingers crossed. We're finally getting somewhere with this. I've got all the wiring just dangling down here. Now, what I've got to do to reach the heater box is I've got to remove this big metal bracket. It's got 2 bolts at the top here and 2 just down there. They're 13 mils. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove them, and then hopefully we can get a little bit closer to our heater box. Well, it's been a quick minute since I've been working on the Mk6 Escort van, and the main reason is because I've been sourcing, or trying to source, one of these heater boxes. Now, what is my hair doing? I got in contact with loads of people on the Facebook page, and numerous people said they had a heater box for me, but none of them ever come up with one. So I ended up going down a breaker's yard the other day, and I had great fun there. I've got loads of goodies in front of me, so let me show you guys what I picked up. As you can see here, I've got a heater box which is for a Mk6 Escort van. It came off exactly the same make and model, so yeah, really happy that this is definitely the correct one. Now, whilst I was at the breaker's yard, I also picked up this plastic walnut dash fascia, and yeah, I was really happy to see this in one of the vans. As soon as I saw it, I thought, right, I'm gonna have that as well. So yeah, I did get a bit carried away. I only went for the box and I come back with all of these bits. I also found 4 Escort van wheel hubcaps. So, well, not really hubcaps, they're sort of just centre caps. But yeah, they're all a bit flaky and scabby, but nothing a good strip down and some new paint won't sort out. I also picked up this interior gear clock because the van I was actually taking the parts off of was a gear. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And also, what I found in another one of the Mk6 Escort vans when I was down at the breakers is this original book pack. So this doesn't have any personal details in of the other van, but it does have a Escort owner's guide. It has loads of bits and bobs in here, and seeing as mine didn't come with a book pack, this is very, very useful, and yeah, I'm just really happy to find one. So that is my loot that I come back from the breakers with. I was really happy to come back with all of them parts. I think there was 3 Mk6 Escort vans there, and yeah, I just delved into all of them. I've never really been to a breakers yard properly and been allowed to roam around, so it's great to have that freedom. And yeah, I come back with the parts that I needed. As for the state of my Escort van, it's currently looking like it should be in a breaker's yard. It is, yeah, completely stripped out now. I've got all the dash out and that metal bracket that I took off. All the pipes as well for the ventilation. But now we need to get the actual heater box out. Luckily, I now know how it is all plumbed in and that. You've got the heater matrix down there and a couple of bolts holding it from above. I obviously know that because I stripped out the other one from the other Escort van that I nicked out of at the breakers. So yeah, that's what I'm going to go ahead and do now. And then what we'll do, once I've got the old heater box out, I'll put it next to the new one and we'll compare. Well, there is one bonus of having a massive gaping hole in your heater box. The fact that you don't have to disconnect the heater matrix when removing it. But obviously I do have a new one of them. You guys know me, I've got to do everything properly. If we're this deep in the job, we've got to replace the heater matrix as well. But yeah, I'll be disconnecting that in a minute. I've now got a heater box detached. It had this blue cable going to one side and this yellow cable going to the other side, and then just two 13mm bolts securing it up the top. I'm just recording this bit on my phone because it's got the torch on it, and we're going to be able to see right down here. And as we can see just down there, they're the two pipes that connect to the heater matrix, and all I need to do is loosen them Jubilee clips off a little bit, and we should be able to remove the old heater matrix. And a job that far down in the engine bay calls for the extra long screwdriver. Yeah, that should do the trick. Get down there. Right, I've loosened them two Jubilee clips. Just before I go and put coolant all over the driveway, I've brought out the brake clamp tool. I'm just going to clamp both of them pipes, and hopefully that should stop any coolant from trying to go all over the driveway. I just popped off the pipes, so this should be loose. Well, it should be. Yeah, there we go. Now that I've got both of the heater boxes out, I can now show you guys and compare the differences. So as I say, they're both from a Mk6 Escort van. The part number is just down here. It's 9118478. If I just flip them over, as you can see from the new heater box that I've got, it's got a nice little sort of cap and two Phillips screwdrivers. That is where the heater matrix usually sits. And as I flip over my old one, you can just see how crude the previous person to work on this was. They literally took a hacksaw to this. You can still see marks, and they've literally just gouged this massive hole in the side. Now, as you compare the two, you can obviously see where all of my air was going. It wasn't going up and through into the vents, it was just blowing out of this side. Now, it looks like they have had duct tape on it before, and I could have just duct taped over it and just forgotten about it, but the heater matrix was leaking a little bit anyway, and as soon as I saw that massive hole, I couldn't forget it. So yeah, I'm very glad that I've got a new heater box that's going in the Escort van. And there is just another shot from a different angle. That is my old heater box, and that is the new one from the scrapyard, or new to me. It is definitely not a new heater box. What I'm going to be replacing on this new heater box is the foam at the top here. As you can see, it's all disintegrated. It just happens over time. Now I'm just going to replace this because it saves any squeakiness and rattling once I fit this new one, but also it stops the air from escaping. It just creates a nice tight seal. What I've done is I went on eBay and I've got this sticky foam, sticky on one side, and it's just foam on the other side. I'm not quite sure if it's thick enough, so I might double it up. But yeah, what I'm going to do, I'm going to clean up this top part, and then I'll be putting the foam on the top there. After about 10 minutes of elbow grease, that is looking 100% better, and I've also renewed this foam at the top. I did actually put 3 layers on in the ends, so yeah, I think that's looking nice, and it should fit up to the bulkhead, or the bit that it attaches to, nice and snug. Now what I've done is I've removed the cover that goes on here, literally just bolts on there with 2 screws, and I'm just about to unwrap my new heater matrix. Here is the new heater matrix, as you can see, looking a lot better than the old one, which was leaking slightly. Now this does come with its own foam seal, which I'm just gonna stick on. It just goes all the way along the outside. As you can see, this one does have the old one still on it in a couple of places. This new one isn't as thick, but yeah, it will do the job. I'm just gonna get that stuck on, and then we can get it slotted into the heater box. Basically, that bit of foam is just to stop it from rattling around, make sure it stays in place nicely. I've already put this in once, and it does go with quite a satisfying click. There we go. All that's left for me to do is to put my little cap on and do up these 2 Phillips screws. Not sure where the other one's gone actually. I'm gonna have to hunt that one down. Oh, it's just down here. There we go. Get that one in. whack it in there. I'll get them both bolted up, and then that is the heater box and the heater matrix completely done, ready to fit. That is the new heater box now completely done up and installed. I've tightened up both of the 13mm nuts that hold it to the top. It was a bit of a pig to get it in, to be honest, but I persisted with it. I tried to hold my tempo a little bit, and yeah, we got there in the end, and it's now completely tightened up and also plumbed in down here, the heater matrix. I've done up the 2 pipes that go through the bulkhead and attach onto the cooling system. So I'm not going to waffle on too much longer because I really want to get this all back together today. I need to put all of the pipes back on that come out of the heater box, and then also put on the dash and everything else. But yeah, I'll catch up with you guys when I've got this a little bit more assembled. Right, this is the stage that I've currently got the dash at. So none of it's actually bolted in. I haven't put any of the bolts in at all. What I've been doing is just connecting the multi-plugs up with what it goes into. So I've connected the radio up, I've connected some of the clock, I've connected this little weird light, and yeah, I've just been sort of marrying up the multi-plugs with what they connect to before I bolt on the dash, because I don't want to have to pull the dash back slightly to get something plugged in. It just saves me a bit of hassle later down the line. So I think I'm ready to bolt up the dash now, and then what I'll do, I'll start to connect the other bits. But yeah, as you can see, I've got the multi-plugs in the right areas ready to connect up the bits and bobs. So yeah, it can seem a bit of a daunting task, but yeah, we'll get there in the end. There we have it. The Mk6 Escort van's interior is pretty much back together. I've got a couple of caps to put back on, and I've also got to put this bit of trim on down here, but I need to neaten up the wiring anyway. Now, I can't decide whether I absolutely love or absolutely hate this plastic walnut dash, so please let me know your opinions in the comment section below. Now, it's obvious that I do need to do a bit of tidying up, but I'm going to start up the Escort van and get it warmed up so we can see if that heater matrix is working. Right, so the horn works. That is one bonus. Let's see if she's going to start up. Hopefully it does. Make sure we're in neutral. Yeah, there we go. There we go. That is the Escort van up and running again as we make our way inside. It is all complete now. Very happy with that. Please do let me know your opinions on the plastic wooden dash. Now for the moment of truth. The blowers are working. Oh, look at that, piping hot. I've left the van running for about 15-20 minutes, piping hot. I am so happy with that. It works on all of the settings. Yeah, brilliant. I could not be happier. And just as I've been packing up all my tools, I've put on a bit of music. I've found these dance CDs, they're my dad's, now 50, and also a bit of ska. So yeah, I've been having a bit of a boogie to that, loving it. And I tell you what else I'm loving is the fact that it's still light out. It's nearly 7 o'clock, and obviously the clocks have gone forwards here in the UK. I'm absolutely loving the lighter evenings. I get home from work, it's not doom and gloom. We're out here on the driveway, cracking on, and yeah, I'm just glad I got the Escort van back together today. Now, one thing I just wanted to talk about is the fact that I've fixed this Escort van, which is, I don't know, about 25 years old, with parts from a scrapyard. I haven't been out, I haven't purchased new parts. The only thing I did purchase that was new was a heater matrix, and I didn't really feel comfortable using a old one or a used one of them. So, but yeah, overall we have used scrapyard bits, and that just feels so satisfying. I wonder, in another 25 years to come, are people going to be rooting around scrapyards to find Tesla parts? I think not. But as you guys can tell, I'm on a bit of a buzz at the moment because I'm so glad the Escort van's back together. I did have it in bits for a couple of weeks whilst I was trying to source the new heater box. Now, one thing I do need to tell you guys is the airbag light is on. Now, I know it is the clock spring because when I removed that, it was already damaged, and I thought, what are the chances the airbag light's going to be on when I put the clock spring back on? And yep, it dings up every now and again. So what I'll be doing, I'll be purchasing the clock spring and I'll be fitting that, but obviously you guys don't need to see that. Now, I can't lie, this has been a huge success. The one fault on this van that spiraled out into the heater box is just complete now, and this van doesn't have any more faults, and I'm happy to drive this to and from work. I'm just scratching my head thinking, what shall I do to it next? So let me know in the comments section below. I could waffle on all day. I'm just glad I've got my Escort van back and it's on the road. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a like, and if you like what you see, subscribe to the channel to see more. Thank you all for watching, and until the next one, I'll see you guys later.